the question now is, okay, so how do we then practice gratitude? I suppose firstly, maybe let's take an individual, because a lot of the individual practices you can also alter them or change them in a way that they actually do suit a couple, right? And so for me, one of the practices that I like as an individual, and you can obviously change this if you are in a couple situation, is every morning, for example, take 1 to 3 things that you are really appreciative for. Now, it could be, for example, it could be anything, right? It could be a quality that you believe you possess. It could be something that you have. It could be an experience that you continue to live day in and day out. So what do I mean by that? For example, let's say I feel I'm kind. Then I'm appreciative of the fact that I'm this kind individual, because I recognize that the kindness comes from somewhere else. It's not just something, I didn't just automatically become kind by myself, but I feel it's something also that God has bestowed you with and given you the skills and the qualities to be able to recognize that you can be kind. So let's say, for example, I believe I'm kind. So what the practice is basically is to just sit quietly, right, and close your eyes for a moment. You could do this alone and maybe recognize, okay, I'm appreciative of the fact that I'm kind. Then after that, once you've recognized what you're appreciative of, is to then tap into the emotion that gives you, and it should be a positive emotion. Okay, and then stay with that emotion maybe for a while. And then just focus on maybe the happiness or the joy it brings you, or the contentment that it gives you, depending on the emotion that it actually gives you. Then what you do, and this is what I like about this exercise, is then you use that you're appreciative of, and you then decide and say to yourself, how am I going to use this that I'm appreciative of and improve my day or the day of those around me? So if I'm appreciative of a quality that I possess, for example, that I'm kind, how can I then be kind to someone else? How can I then be kind to myself today? So now I'm not going to go and be too hard on myself if something doesn't work out. Or maybe I'm going to just treat myself better. Maybe I'm going to do something for my partner today that's going to be kind, and so forth. So the 3 steps within that exercise is to recognize every morning, take time, actually sit by yourself, recognize what it is you're appreciative of, tap into the emotion of it, and then what you do then is you decide, how is it that I'm going to use this to improve my day and the day of those around me? Now, it could be that you're appreciative of a car, for example, right? How am I going to use that to, for example, improve my day? Maybe I'm going to go for a drive and enjoy my car, or maybe I'm going to take my partner for a drive. You get where I'm going with this. So the nice thing about that is throughout the day, there's this reminder, because you're thinking of ways of how you can actually use that particular quality or that thing that you're appreciative of. For example, if it's an experience that you're living, let's say, for example, you're appreciative of the job you have or the type of work you do. How can I be better at my job today for myself? How can I be better at my job today for the people that I work with? So it's kind of, you start paying it forward, and so that emotion is with you throughout the day and throughout the time that you're actually trying to practice. Okay. You could do that. You can alter that, and you can do that even with your partner if you sit quietly with each other, and you don't have to share with each other what it is at the point in time when you're doing it. But you could decide, how am I going to use this to help my partner? I think for me, that is it's a very cool, very good appreciation exercise that someone can do every day.
True. Another one is, and so remember we're talking about, because it's first important to be grateful as a person, because firstly you're a person before you are a couple, right? And so I would recommend that you have your own personal practice. And so one that I use is typically lying in bed. Sometimes your eyes are closed, but you're awake, but you're kind of still taking time to open your eyes and start your day, is to just lie in bed. And if this becomes too much, then go with Marwaan's suggestion, which is just one or two or three things. But you could literally, if this is not something that's natural for you, focus on where you're at that moment. You're lying in bed, you have a roof over your head, your bedding is clean, you actually have bedding. You have, if it's winter, a nightgown, you have slippers, you are able to just walk over to the kettle and switch it on. Focus on those things. Yes, they are material, but it's going to allow you to establish the practice of gratitude, because we take those things for granted. It's like, if you were to just every time open your cupboard in the morning, what do you ask yourself? What am I going to wear today? Which says and implies that you have so much to choose from. Did we ever take the time to just be grateful for that? And so what I'm highlighting is if you really think about it and you look for ways, there's lots of things to be grateful for. And I think that's really important to highlight. The other thing is, if you find your morning's too busy, you've got kids, you've got to get to work, it's crazy. Fair enough, then make it an evening practice. But there's no excuse, because what you're doing is, remember, you're also training your mind to be more positive, which automatically is going to have a knock-on effect. So what you could do then is, let's say you're tired, is maybe at night just journal before going to bed and actually writing, I am thankful for, or thank you for. And you just write down 5 things. Sometimes we set our goals every day. I'm going to write down 20 things that I'm grateful for. And sometimes it's not possible. But you could start with 3 to 5 things and it could still have a really huge impact.